friends, welcome back to the Tiny House Concierge. My name is Alaska. If you're new, this is the channel where I document my tiny living experience and tell you how it goes to try and save you pain and suffering. Okay, so welcome to my tiny house. This is the Tiny House of Peace. It is 26 feet long, 8.5 feet wide, and 13.5 feet tall from the ground. It's about 11-foot ceilings inside. I bought my tiny house 2 years ago, and I have been living in it for a year and a half. It was originally built by the Mint Tiny House Company of British Columbia, Canada, and I purchased it secondhand from the original owners. Now, if you have watched my other videos, like how going tiny was not my original plan, and why I started the Tiny House Concierge, and all of those videos, you will know that I kind of went tiny spur of the moment. It was not the plan. However, it ended up being the best possible thing I could have done. And I did do due diligence going into this purchase, but there were also a lot of things that I could not possibly have known ahead of time. And I got really, really lucky that the builder made really great choices, and that the former owner who made some of the customizations made some really good choices with regard to the layout. So today I'm going to be giving you a quick tour of my tiny home, and then we are going to go over some of the layout things that exist in the Tiny House of Peace that I appreciate literally every single day. Let's do a tour. And that concludes the tour. So now I'm going to tell you about the layout and design options that make this house amazing. We're going to begin our tour here at the French doors. French doors are an excellent choice for a tiny home because they allow so much light to come through. And that will make your tiny home feel big and open and beautiful. The other great thing about French doors is that they allow you to open a significant portion of your wall so that you can enjoy indoor-outdoor living. So I will show you an example of this right now. I'm going to rearrange the living room and create an easy open-air yoga studio, which I do quite often. I also have indoor-outdoor dining and all kinds of things, but the bottom line is that it really feels luxurious to be able to open a wall right out into the outdoors. Normally when we think of homes that allow us to do this, and I'm keeping that closed just for privacy reasons, but when we have a wall that we can open up, that is like normally a multi-million-dollar home, and I have it in my tiny house. Now I want to tell you a little bit more about this couch space. Everything you see, the couch, the footstools, everything is storage, so all of that opens up. And this is one of the most flexible spaces in my house, and I love it for a number of reasons. I've already showed you how this space can be an open-air yoga studio, but now I have it arranged the way I would if I had guests over. There's actually a tiny table behind the couch. I just pull it out, and I have a tiny dining room. So we're going to go back to this view for a minute. I really, really, really love the L-shaped couch, and for a few reasons. One, when I have guests over, this provides a way for us to kind of face each other and talk without having to have a second piece of furniture. Two, the L-shaped couch allows for two different views. And because of where the couch is positioned in the home, it allows for both great views and long views. So I'll start with great views. Many, many times I have seen a builder website that has a spectacular view of a tiny home. But when I think about it, that photo was maybe taken from the ladder that goes into the loft, or from the bathroom, or from a place in the home that I would never be sitting and lounging. In a tiny home, you're not going to move around quite as much, and chances are you're going to be sitting on your most comfortable piece of furniture. So you want to be thinking about, when I'm sitting on the couch, where am I going to be looking? This is the view of my home that I have most of the time, and I absolutely love it. If I sit the other way on the couch, though, I'm looking straight out the glass doors. Again, I have the shades down just for privacy. Okay, now let's talk about long views. So whether I'm looking out a window or down the length of my house, my eye line extends far out in the distance. And this is going to make my home feel so much bigger than if my eye line was cut off by, say, a bathroom in the middle of my tiny home. Okay, you want to see something cool? Watch this. Behind the couch is where I keep the projector screen. And I don't know if you caught it in the shot of the couch, but there was a projector hanging above it. And so this is a 70-inch projector screen that I just hook onto a little hook on the shelf, and over to another one right here. And I have a movie theater situation like nobody's business. If you haven't gone tiny yet, you should know that projectors pair really well with tiny homes. And that's because when you're using them, they're dramatic and amazing, and when you're not using them, they pop away. Okay, let's talk windows. I have 12 windows and 3 skylights in my tiny house, and it is not too many. The natural light in here is incredible. It makes the space feel so much bigger, provides ventilation, and while it's a little less energy efficient, I think it's totally worth it. I am so excited about my tiny kitchen. It is literally seamless to cook in here, and I cook all the time. I'm going to take you through once and let you look at everything, and then I'm going to take you back and show you why this layout works so incredibly well. I have a theory about tiny kitchens. Since we read left to right, it makes sense to our brains to go in that order. As you can see from my tiny kitchen, I can cook and then clean in a way that allows me to move left to right in one direction. Here's how this works. This is my prep space. Then I move over to cook, and this is where I plate the food, and then I do dishes, and finally I dry. This is something a lot of people don't think about. It's important to have space to the right of the sink, because this will allow you to set a drying rack. Before we leave the kitchen, I do want to show you my pull-out pantry. As you can see, I don't have upper cabinets. I just have open shelving, which I love. But I did need a place to store food that was going to be convenient. So this pull-out pantry is a piece that I made. It's actually 2 bathroom carts, and I modified it to fit my needs. Oh, whoops. And as you can see, it allows me to access everything that I use on a regular basis. I was kind of worried that those jars would be really annoying and I would have to keep filling them up. Honestly, I probably do that once a month. If I had cabinets, I'd be digging to the back to find things. This keeps everything accessible. Okay, remember the bathroom? There's not too much to say about this layout except for that I really like it. I like that the shower is in the corner. I like that the toilet faces out the window. I like that the window's not near the shower, so I'm less concerned about mold issues and mold buildup there. That's a heater that you see down by the floor. And the only thing I don't like about this sink setup is that I hit my head on the mirror above, but that's fixable. Dirty laundry. Let's talk through this one. So I love having my laundry there because it gives it room to breathe. It's also conveniently right across from my washer and dryer, so it makes doing laundry super simple and means my clothes don't get mildewy. And speaking of clothes, let me show you where the closet is. So I'm going to freeze frame right here. If my closet was in the loft, I'd be laying down to pull on pants. And if it was in the bathroom, I'd be concerned about mildew in my tiny closet. It's weird to get dressed in the kitchen, but I also really enjoy having my closet here. And that second closet is where I keep the utilities. In a minute, we'll go upstairs, but for now, I just want to show you how seamless it is to move about my tiny house. When you're in a small space, it's really important that you can move about without having to contort yourself. Okay, welcome to the loft. So, given that there's not a lot of space up here, pretty much all I do up here is sleep. This is not an area that I come to hang out because I don't want to be hunched over. I know a lot of people use lofts for tiny offices or other things like that, but for me, if I can't stand up properly or sit up properly, I'm really not going to want to hang out up here. Speaking of sitting up, here is one thing you might want to consider. A skylight creates like a 10-inch bump out. So if you need a little bit more headroom occasionally in the loft, this is your opportunity. See, that's what happens when you don't put skylights. That's what happens when you do. You're welcome. Hi friends, thank you so much for joining me on this tour of the Tiny House of Peace today. I hope that you learned some things about layout and design of tiny homes. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I will do my best to get to all of them. If you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe, that would be amazing. I would love to have you, and I will see you in the next video.